Hey guys, it's LoFi here and welcome back to another of my videos. Today I'm going to be reacting to my old artwork. So this first art piece that you're seeing right now is a artwork that I did in 2015, so I was about 13 or 12, I think it's about 12, and this is one of my first digital artworks that I ever did. Inspiration for this one at the time was just anime and manga because that's really the only way I knew how to do it. And I had no clue what I was doing, but I just tried something out and tried to see how it worked. So that was my first one. So here's my second artwork. This is actually not the original. The original one is actually before the previous one, but I couldn't find it. So this one is 2015, about when I was 13, so this might have been more so summer 2015 I mean. And this one I was developing my style a little bit more. I was learning a little bit more about anatomy and proportions and stuff, and as you can see I attempted to like shade and do a nose and a proper mouth and eyes and stuff. So it was a big improvement from my last one, and yeah, I mean it's really bad, but it was a big improvement from my last one, so I'm really happy that my work got better rather quickly. So yeah, that's this one. This one is actually a repaint of a one that I did previously, which I also lost the file for, so yeah. So this is 2016. This was about spring 2016, so I was 13, and this is a lip study. And this is when I started to actually do studies, and I learned what studies were and that I had to actually practice. So as you can tell, this is a big improvement from my last work because the anatomy of the lip is a lot better, but it's still missing like a lot of things. I was learning a little bit about shading my work a little bit better. So the shading was a big improvement, but it didn't have all the values that are actually in human lips, so that they have like a mass. And I was using black a lot and white a lot and not properly doing the colors and shading, but I was learning a little bit, and it was a big improvement from my last one. So this is part of my element series, which I have not continued, but I will continue it. This one is called hydrogen, I think, probably. And yeah, this was 2016. This is when I started to really get into more anatomy and just learning about what I was drawing more. So as you can tell, the anatomy, the proportions on the face are a lot better. The hair is still really disgusting, but it's definitely an improvement from my first work in 2015. And I was still 13 here. I don't think I was 14 yet, so yeah. I actually do like this piece. I would just redo it differently now, but I think it was a good start. So yeah, and I think I also have this speed paint on my channel still if you'd like to check that one out as well. This next piece was inspired by a picture of a moon, of the moons. I think it was like the moon cycles, and I was playing around with lighting, and as you can tell, it was a good start, but there is a lot missing from it still. But this was probably around the time I was 14. And I think it's a cool painting. I started doing like color palettes and looking at all of that type of stuff and like hand anatomy and trying to draw hands. So I put the hand on the face and tried to draw it. And I think this one turned out okay. Obviously I should redo this one, and like the eyebrows are like literally black, and that's not actually how eyebrows are now, so I will probably do a redraw of this one because I like the concept, I just don't like how it was executed because I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, I was around 14 here, and here's the next one. So this one was done based on a photograph, but I changed a lot of stuff up with the photograph, and I was practicing drawing something submerged in water. And again, I think this one is pretty okay. There's not a lot of shading, there's a lot of highlighting, but not much shading. So it's a lot of just mid-tone and highlight, but I would love to recreate this one as well. And I was still really bad with hair. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was still, I think the proportions are a lot better, but there still has some improvement. And I was 14 here. I had not turned 15 yet when I did this. So yeah, I'll probably redraw this one as well because I don't hate it. I'm actually learning that I don't hate most of them. I just wish that I drew better to do it. So this is 2017. I believe I was still 14 here, or I could possibly have been 15. But this is another study. As you can tell, the shading improved dramatically. The highlighting improved dramatically. The facial proportions improved dramatically. There's still a lot of issues, but for the most part, it's a big step up from what I did before. I started to look at Instabrek for like proportion and how to draw different art things and her critiques, and they're so helpful. So I absolutely recommend that you check it out. But there is still a lot of just space that I could have worked up more. Like the left of her face still had some shadows, I'm sure, that could have been added to make it look better. And I also feel like her nose is too exposed. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, I don't think it's a horrible picture for that year, but yeah, it's okay. But as you can tell, I was improving dramatically. So, next one. This one was when I was 15, and this was last year. So again, this one is a big step up from the last one, although it's not as much, definitely not the same type of shading. I think I might have been trying a new style. But I do still really like this picture because it looks very 3D. It doesn't look as flat as some of my other pictures looked. But there's still some flatness with like her body. But if I cropped her body out and just had her head, it doesn't look as flat as my drawings used to look. So this is again a big step up from my last one, and the hair is getting a lot better. It's still really bad, but it's improving, and the anatomy is improving. My shading is pretty much the same. I don't think it really drastically improved, but the anatomy is definitely a lot better. So yeah, that was this one, and this one is called Sam, and the speed paint is on my channel. I should also gonna be repainting this one soon. And then this one was done this year. I think this was done very early this year. And as you can tell, my shading and lighting and everything had started to improve. I drew water, and I don't know how much like water it actually looked, but I still think it was a lot better. The nose anatomy and the basic face anatomy looks a lot better, and if I zoom in on like the mouth, it looks dramatically better to how I used to draw mouths. And I was also trying a lot more with like the hair. So as you can tell, like I tried to do the lighting on the hair and the shading on the face and all that, which I really need to work on my hair, so I think this is a great improvement to start it off. Alright, and then my next one is also going to be 2018, and this one's speed paint is also on my channel. just in case you guys want to check it out. This one is 2018, and I did this one pretty recently. It's called Ethereal, and the speed paint is also on my channel, and I really like this one. I think I'm really proud of this artwork that I did. I don't know why, I just think it was kind of more interesting to what I was doing before. It's just like this girl, and she's standing in this field of flowers, but the flowers aren't just like, they're not extremely detailed, so they don't take away from her and her presence. So yeah, I really do like this picture. And this one was kind of a combination of different photographs and different references that I used. I think it turned out really well. And for the hair, as you can see, I dramatically improved again with the hair. Like, it started to have more mass to it, and it didn't just look like straw. So yeah, that is Ethereal. And here is my drawing of Millie Bobby Brown. So this one I think again is decent. It's not my favorite one because I think looking back at it now, I could have added a lot more highlighting on her face and maybe more shading as well. Probably needs some more darker tones to it, but again, it's a pretty good improvement. I started to pay attention to the proportions, comparing it with the photograph, and just making sure that my proportions are right, and I was flipping the canvas a lot so that my drawing was symmetrical on both sides, which is like one of my biggest tips if you want to improve, is flip your canvas around, and then you'll be able to see all of your mistakes and be able to fix them. And that's what I was doing with this one. And I was also trying a bit harder on the hair so that it didn't look like straw, but it actually looked like hair. So I think the hair was definitely an improvement from my Sam one. I don't know if it was improved from Ethereal, but it was definitely an improvement from Sam. So yeah, I did this one also recently. Here is my redraw of Lunamots, and looking at this one and then the Lunamots that I did like 2017, I'm just so surprised because this actually looks a lot better than the other one. Like, I had no clue what I was doing with the other one. I thought it was so good, and then I'm looking at this one and it's a lot better. So keep in mind that this one is not fully worked on, like the hair isn't done. Yeah, it's kind of plain because I just didn't want to work it anymore because it's kind of boring to draw the same thing twice. So yeah, but I still like the concept, and I can see the drastic improvement from many years ago to now. So I think this one is pretty good. As you can tell, there's a lot more shading and a lot darker tones, and just a lot more symmetry in her actual face. And yeah, I really do like this one. I obviously need to work on like the shirt more. Next one is my drawing of Hannah, and this one I actually did for a assignment for school, and I like how it's turned out. Obviously, it's missing a lot of darker tones. It's missing a lot of mostly just darker tones. I could have added some darker tones to her neck and parts of her face, but this was me trying out my style. So I was just kind of fooling around with my style and not paying close attention on all the shading necessarily. But I do like the improvement. The anatomy is pretty good, and it's definitely a huge improvement from my first early works. So I'm really proud of how far I've come so far in these 3 years of doing digital art. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and comment, rate, and subscribe. And then you should also recreate this video. Like, if you have some artwork and you've improved, then make a video. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you. Bye!